For years, the global fighter jet market has been dominated by a few major players. Military powers like the United States, Russia, and China have poured immense resources into developing their fifth-generation aircraft. The American F-35 Lightning II, the Russian Su-57 Felon, and the Chinese J-20 Mighty Dragon were seen as the pinnacle of air combat technology. In this high-stakes arena, Sweden's Saab JAS-39 Gripen was often viewed as a capable but less formidable competitor. Many defense analysts and military leaders from larger nations tended to dismiss it, considering it a lightweight option that couldn't truly stand toe-to-toe with the stealthy, sensor-fused giants that define the cutting edge of modern warfare. The perception was that the Gripen, while cost-effective and reliable, simply lacked the groundbreaking technological muscle of its more expensive counterparts. It was a smart, multi-role fighter, but it did not seem to represent a generational leap forward. Nations with smaller defense budgets appreciated its lower operational costs and simpler maintenance requirements, but the world's premier air forces continued to invest in the promise of overwhelming technological superiority offered by the bigger, more complex platforms. The narrative seemed set. The Gripen was a respectable fighter for the second tier, but not a true game-changer that could redefine the future of air power on a global scale. This skepticism was rooted in a traditional view of military hardware, where progress is measured in new airframes, stealth coatings, and more powerful engines. The focus was on physical attributes and massive long-term development programs that took decades to mature. The idea of rapid, software-based evolution was not yet fully appreciated in the mainstream defense community. The Gripen, with its emphasis on efficient design and adaptability, was often underestimated. Its core philosophy of continuous, incremental upgrades was seen as a compromise, rather than a strategic advantage. A way to keep up, rather than a way to lead the charge into a new technological frontier. Yet, behind the scenes, Saab was quietly cultivating a different kind of strength. The company embraced a design philosophy that treated the Gripen E not just as a machine of metal and wires, but as a dynamic software platform. This approach, which prioritized open architecture and ease of integration, was preparing the ground for a revolution that few saw coming. While the world watched the slow and costly development cycles of other advanced fighters, the Swedish jet was being engineered for agility, not just in the air, but in the very way it could adopt new technologies. This foundational difference would soon allow the perceived underdog to make a move that would capture the world's attention. The moment that shattered old perceptions arrived in the skies over the Baltic Sea between late May and early June of 2025. In a series of groundbreaking test flights, Saab, in partnership with the German AI specialist company Helsing, did something historic. They handed over the controls of a Gripen E fighter jet to an artificial intelligence agent. This was not a simple autopilot test or a simulated exercise confined to a lab. This was a live flight test where the AI, named Centaur, was fully integrated into the jet's complex operational systems. It was tasked with executing real high-stakes combat maneuvers in a dynamic environment, marking a monumental step in military aviation. During these trials, the AI-piloted Gripen E engaged in a beyond visual range combat scenario against a human-piloted Gripen D. The Centaur AI was responsible for processing vast amounts of data from the jet's own advanced sensors, including its AESA radar and electronic warfare suite. Based on this real-time information, the AI independently assessed the tactical situation, planned its flight path, and executed complex maneuvers to gain a positional advantage over its human opponent. It demonstrated an ability to think and react in a live combat setting, even cueing the human safety pilot on when to simulate weapon deployment at the optimal moment. This ambitious test was part of a Swedish initiative known as Project Beyond, a program fully sponsored by the country's Defense Material Administration, FMV. The project's goal is to explore the next generation of fighter technologies that will be crucial for countering threats through the 2040s and beyond. To ensure the test was a true measure of the AI's capability, the team even intentionally disabled the command and control data links to the ground. This forced the Centaur AI to operate completely on its own, relying solely on the data it could gather from the aircraft's onboard systems, proving its robustness and autonomy in a contested electronic environment. The success of these flights sent a powerful message to the international defense community. It was a clear demonstration of advanced human-machine teaming, where an AI agent could perform the demanding tasks of an air combat pilot within a frontline fighter jet. The sight of an AI autonomously flying and fighting in a Gripen E was no longer a theoretical concept or a far-off futuristic idea. It was a proven reality. This achievement fundamentally challenged the established hierarchy of air power, proving that innovation wasn't just about building the biggest or most expensive jet, but about mastering the software that brings it to life. One of the most astonishing aspects of the Gripen E's AI flight was the speed at which it was achieved. From the initial definition of the project's goals to the first successful flight test, the entire integration cycle took less than 6 months. This rapid timeline is almost unheard of in the world of advanced military aviation, where upgrading complex systems on fighters like the F-35 can often take years of painstaking work. The key to this incredible agility lies in the Gripen E's core design philosophy. It was built from the ground up with a modern, software-defined, open architecture, which separates the flight-critical systems from the mission and combat systems. This deliberate separation allows for new capabilities like Helsing's Centaur AI to be rapidly developed, tested, and integrated without interfering with the essential flight controls of the aircraft. It functions much like a smartphone, where new apps can be installed and updated without needing to rebuild the entire operating system. Saab test pilot Marcus Want specifically highlighted this modern architecture as the critical enabler for the project's swift progress. This design proves Saab's mantra, articulated by its head of advanced programs, Peter Nielsen, that in software there are no generations, only speed. The Gripen E embodies this principle, allowing for accelerated capability gains. The Centaur AI itself was prepared for its mission with remarkable efficiency. Developed by Helsing, a Munich-based company founded in 2021, the AI was trained using a process called reinforcement learning. It was put through its paces in a massive-scale virtual environment known as the RL Factory. In just 24 hours of intensive training, the AI accumulated the equivalent of decades of virtual air combat experience, learning and refining its tactics at a rate no human pilot could ever match. This allowed it to enter the live flight tests with a deep understanding of beyond visual range combat, ready to perform at a high level from its very first flight. This combination of a rapidly trainable AI and a fighter jet designed for easy updates creates a powerful synergy. While other nations struggle with slow, bureaucratic, and expensive upgrade paths for their legacy and even modern fleets, Sweden and Saab have demonstrated a new model for military modernization. The ability to introduce a revolutionary technology like a combat AI agent in under half a year is a strategic advantage that cannot be overstated. It means the Gripen E can adapt to new threats and incorporate new technologies faster than its competitors, keeping it at the forefront of aerial warfare for years to come. The successful integration of the Centaur AI has profoundly altered the strategic landscape for Sweden and its flagship fighter. The Gripen E is no longer just a cost-effective alternative. It is now a pioneer in the critical field of autonomous military aviation. This achievement positions Saab as a leader in a technological race that includes some of the world's largest defense powers. Countries that once might have overlooked the Gripen are now forced to pay close attention. The project provides a credible European-developed pathway to the future of air combat, presenting a compelling alternative to American, Russian, or Chinese programs. The demonstration also validates the Gripen's long-standing value proposition. With a unit cost of around $85 million and significantly lower operational expenses compared to the F-35's $100+ million price tag, the Gripen already offered a financially sensible choice. Now, it adds unmatched technological agility to its list of advantages. For nations looking to modernize their air forces without breaking their defense budgets, the Gripen E offers a platform that is not only affordable, but also future-proof. It can evolve at the speed of software, ensuring that investments made today will not become obsolete tomorrow. This could significantly boost its appeal and influence future procurement decisions within NATO and beyond. Looking ahead, Saab and Helsing are not resting on their laurels. The data gathered from the initial flights is being meticulously analyzed to refine the AI's performance and expand its capabilities. More test flights are already scheduled throughout 2025, with plans to explore more complex scenarios. These future tests will likely focus on cooperative missions, where AI-driven aircraft team up with human-piloted jets, and further integration with the Gripen's sophisticated electronic warfare and reconnaissance systems. The goal is to build a truly collaborative ecosystem where human pilots can command and control autonomous wingmen, multiplying their effectiveness in combat. Ultimately, the joke is now on the doubters. The Gripen E has transformed from a perceived underdog into a genuine game-changer, proving that innovation and strategic vision can triumph over sheer size and budget. For Sweden, this is more than just a technological milestone. It is a declaration of its role as a key player in shaping the future of defense technology. As the world moves toward an era of AI-augmented warfare, the little jet that could has shown everyone that it is ready to lead the way, securing its place and Sweden's influence in the skies of the 21st century.